So guys, Derek, moreplates.com. Today we're going to be talking about the Zachary David Alexander Efron, bro. The American actor who is best known for playing Troy Bolton in the High School Musical trilogy and many other roles since then, and seemingly putting in strong efforts to get away from the teenage heartthrob, high school kind of guy that he is most well known for, presumably, through some of his recent actions, some of his crazy transformations in particular. And this one, he has taken the news by storm again for another transformation, this time because he looks like a fucking pro wrestler, dude. He is unrecognizable in all caps as he debuts extremely beefed up physique and bowl haircut to play wrestler Kevin Von Erich. So, as you can see here, Efron looking pretty meaty, looking pretty, almost got like a turtle shell-esque six-pack here, bro. Super tanned, Milano tanned out the wazoo. He's got the traps popping, he's got the 3D deltoids back, and he's got the Baywatch plus some muscle tissue added, bro. The High School Musical heartthrob 35 is worlds away from the wholesome Troy Bolton as he wandered around set in just a towel, letting his very ripped frame do the talking between takes. The star, who has always been known for his hunky frame, has gained a substantial amount of muscle to recreate Von Erich's frame while sporting a deep tan. Jacked Efron, looking unrecognizable, who recently addressed speculation over his changing face, has also donned a bowl-style wig as he strolled around set on his phone. So, he looks pretty... Like, this looks pretty similar, dude. Like, he is absolutely representing the role well, I would say. Like, again, obviously, if you're gonna match the guy's face, it's, you know, it's one thing that's maybe a bit of a stretch to try and do, but I mean, the physique, like, even the muscle inserts, dude, like, this looks pretty similar to me. And, you know, definitely put in the work. Like, the guy obviously got in the gym and has been subjecting himself to the exact types of stresses he needs to be under, and the diet and the sleep and all that kind of shit. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about when they say address speculation over his changing face, a lot of you guys have probably seen this. You know, he mentions how he almost died, you know, and why his face looks the way he does. It is because he seemingly or supposedly smashed his face on a fountain in 2013, I believe it was. And, you know, that was the catalyst apparently to a jaw masseter, like hypertrophy compensation scenario, whereby now in 2022, well, 2021, when this first came up, I believe, you know, like almost a decade later, all these changes seem to come about.
I know you had a pretty bad accident like a few months ago, right?
I actually did, yeah. I actually broke my jaw.
I'm observing your jaw to see you had it wired shut and all that.
I did. I was like running through my house and I slipped and fell and hit my face.
If he was going to get plastic surgery, he wouldn't get that. Come on.
You got a good jaw, man.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God. You're just stirring the pot.
No, it was funny. It sucked. I almost died, but we're good.
But you're good now.
Yeah.
Good.
He is good now. So, you know, quite the awkward interaction, and it is something that seemingly is unexplainable in my opinion. Like, it is something that many speculate he had cosmetic work done, quite significant at that. As do I, to be honest. I believe he did not just like subject himself to heavy amounts of HGH, get the, you know, wisdom teeth removal that caused perpetual lifelong swelling. Like, no, bro. Something very, very significant has gone on, and it is not the result of breaking your jaw 8 years ago or whatever. So, you can see that the facial changes are still evident here, despite the fact that when he's out of shape, in shape, whatever, like during the greatest beer run, you know, his face is still the same structure, like for the past 2 years or whatever, since this, you know, the first sighting of it in this, you know, Bill Nye promotional, whatever it was. All of a sudden, Zac Efron looks wildly different, and I speculate it's because he is trying to portray a more mature, older man, essentially, rather than looking like the teenage heartthrob with the less masculine characteristics, although an exceptional looking guy who shouldn't have really like done anything, in my opinion. I think he, I'm not a Hollywood connoisseur or somebody who knows what it takes really. So, you know, who am I to talk? But I would, you know, for a guy who is one of the best looking guys in the industry to then undergo some significant cosmetic interventions in order to look a bit more masculine and older and wiser or whatever, more mature, and get some more mature roles and be taken more seriously in Hollywood. I don't know. Like, it seems kind of wild and like a huge stretch of a justification to be making for the process, but it is what it is. And here he is now, not only sporting the new face, but also sporting the new physique that goes along with this new role where he plays one of the Von Erichs. So if you go down here, cereal interruption. Have I got your fucking attention, bro? This is high protein cereal. This is what I have for my healthy cheats, and I've had for a while. If you guys don't know, like, they didn't ship to Canada for a while. So when I would get my blood work at LabCorp in the States, if you guys don't know, I live in Canada, I'd drive over to the border, get my blood work done at LabCorp, and go to my PO box and pick up multiple boxes of these that I had ordered and bring them home. This would be my healthy cheat where I could get my sweet tooth satisfied whilst concurrently getting my protein in, because at the end of the day, this stuff is like for example, the fruity flavor, like 95% as good as Fruit Loops. And while being 95% as good in taste compared to a Fruit Loops or something like that, it has a far superior macronutrient breakdown. We have 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, only 4 to 5 net grams of carbs in each serving, only 140 calories per serving. For me, this is a way to concurrently get my protein in while having a lower inflammatory, healthier overall cereal. Like for me, if I have a giant bowl of Frosted Flakes, for example, not only am I getting a less healthy cereal, but I'm getting 0 protein whatsoever, and I'm having to drink a protein shake separately or eat some meat separately or whatever to get my protein needs. So I'm literally elevating my calorie allotment that day in order to concurrently get my sweet tooth satisfied and also get my protein in at the same time. Whereas with this, it's like a 2 birds, 1 stone personally, and I like the idea of the clean cheats. So this for me has been something that has been a go-to for years, and I would highly recommend you try it out if you haven't. And if you haven't checked out their bars too, they have awesome cereal bars that have protein in them too. They're kind of like healthy Rice Krispie bars essentially that are awesome for on the go and still have a good hit of protein. These taste awesome. I've been plowing through them lately, to be honest, and I recommend you try them out if you're looking for something, on the go, quick, easy, low calorie, that's not gonna break the bank for calories and still get your protein in. So you can check it out. If you want to support me, click the link below and use code Derek for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/Derek to save $5 off your order today. I almost said that wrong. Don't forget that Magic Spoon is now shipping to Canada and the UK. So I mentioned I used to drive over the border to get it from my PO box. Don't need to do that anymore. You can actually get it shipped to you in Canada or in the UK if you're there. And obviously in the States, super easy shipping in the States. You lucky fucks, you get so much good stuff down there. My favorite things when I'm in the States is going to the grocery stores there. It's unreal. So anyways, use my code Derek. Get $5 off your delicious, healthy Magic Spoon cereal by clicking this link, magicspoon.com/Derek, and back to the regularly scheduled programming. Fritz Von Erich, whose real name was Jack Adkisson, began his career playing a Nazi in the wrestling circuit in the 50s and 60s. The star was the spitting image of the real Kevin Von Erich. The Iron Claw is a drama based on the Von Erich family, who created a dynasty that made a huge impact on the sport in their heyday in the 1960s. Let's see. So left to right, Mike Von Erich, who committed suicide, aged just 23 in 1987. Kerry Von Erich, who died by suicide in 1993, aged 33. And Kevin in the 1980s. So this is him, front shot, back shot, side shot. Star was seen showing off his ripped frame walking around the set. This was him way back in the day when he was a High School Musical star, and now he is rocking the sauced out of his mind physique. Star's throwing himself into yet another gritty role with another body transformation. And I guess you can't even get away with walking around on your set without getting paparazzi, and you end up in articles with people putting out spoilers and whatever it is about what your upcoming gigs are. So here he is chilling with this wig on, and the deep tan, the muscular separation. Like, he's been putting in work, dude. Like, this is absolutely probably the most muscle we've seen on his frame to date, at least based on some of the core changes that I see here. Or he could just be, a little bit, like, I just don't think I've seen him more jacked than this. This was him back in his Baywatch role, which was probably the most yoked out of his tree he has gotten. The guy looked absolutely slicey, diced as all hell, diced to the literal socks, I may add, absolutely grainy, nonsensical, bro. And he is since come out and actually talked about some of the things he had to do to subject himself to from a drug aspect, interestingly enough, in order to achieve that temporary look. So he mentioned here in this Men's Health article, that Baywatch look, I don't know if that's really attainable. There's just too little water in the skin. Like, it's fake. It looks CGI'd, he says, and required Lasix, powerful diuretics, to achieve. So I don't need to do that. I much prefer to have an extra, 2 to 3% body fat. So Lasix, saying that you took Lasix, is that really an admittance of performance-enhancing drug use? Like, you could definitely argue a diuretic is like, you know, a cherry on top if you're holding a little bit too much water, you're not, you know, in the right shape, and you're trying to, or as lean as you could be, and you're trying to, you know, play catch up a little bit, or you're trying to get a bit of a finishing touch. Like, it's not uncommon for bodybuilders to pop a little bit of a diazide before a show, even if they are like shredded to the fucking bone. It kind of depends on the individual, how much water they are prone to holding, what other compounds they're using, and what kind of propensity those side effects could lead to them from their body composition and temporary fluid dynamics aspect. That's a lot of mouthful jargon to essentially say that if you want to get super dialed, you know, there is definitely a balancing act between muscular fullness and dryness and achieving that happy medium between the two. And for Efron, presumably in Baywatch, to try and achieve the best look possible, they justified using some Lasix. However, what else would he have been using? You know, obviously one of the first things people want to ask is this guy natty or not? And I discussed this in fairly elaborate detail, I thought, back in 2019 when I covered his Baywatch role, and exactly what I thought he might be doing. He looks like a fitness model by all means. Like, he is absolutely in amazing shape in this movie, and no one would doubt that he packed on a significant amount of muscle and got super fucking conditioned for the role. So to see him go above and beyond that in his mid-30s when he, like, again, is not somebody who would otherwise ever subject himself to this by his own, you know, choices. Like, this is something strictly for a role, and he actually frowns upon it, like, heavily, seemingly. It's interesting that he has kind of gone this route and is very, very willing to do what it takes, seemingly, to make it and be seen as a serious actor. Whatever the role is that he's trying to portray, does it to what he believes to be the highest standard, whether that is achieving this, you know, different looking face entirely, or achieving this new physique with seemingly so much food being packed down, or having some gut dysbiosis that he has some distension here. Because again, this is not as tight of a look as he had in Baywatch either. He is seemingly, you know, packing on a decent amount of weight and then, you know, shredding down maybe even more. But like, to me, this is the beefiest look he's had to date, and definitely looks the part. Like, absolutely spot on representation, even down to the, like, obviously you can't portray muscle insertions, but you can see why they chose him based on the comparative, I don't know, left and right here. Like, it's just a fucking spitting image, seemingly. So I think he'll do probably a good job. Like, he seems like one of the most hyper committed dudes to making the shit work, regardless of the role. Like, he is nearly an unrecognizable human at this point. Look at him in this interview here. He very much, what I perceive to be, wants to be taken seriously in Hollywood, regardless of what it takes. Last month, ZAC revealed he fell into a deep depression while training for the 2017 Baywatch film. Star, who looked absolutely ripped, said in a new interview this week that he was training so hard and taking diuretics that he became depressed. ZAC also said he started to suffer from insomnia and felt burnt out due to the intense training and filming schedule. He told Men's Health, "That Baywatch look, I don't know if it's really attainable, blah, blah, blah." Took Lasix, diuretic to achieve his ripped look, which took a toll on his mental health. Started to develop insomnia, and I fell into pretty bad depression for a long time. Something about that experience burned me out. Well, I'm pretty sure anybody who is doing like a contest prep is going to feel burned out, especially if you're subjecting yourself to kidney damaging fucking heavy duty diuretics. I had a really hard time recentering. Ultimately, they chalked it up to taking way too many diuretics for way too long, and it messed something up. Wow, I'd be interested to hear exactly how long his Lasix protocol really was. Like, were they making him take it for multiple days in a row? Like, this is not a like benign diuretic thing you want to be fucking around with. Not that there are really, like, there are more benign diuretics, you know, like I believe it's like a dandelion root or something like that. It's more natural and still, you know, could be useful in like some lesser capacity. But for him to be like loading up on Lasix multiple days in a row or whatever it is, like, yeah, that could fucking take its toll on you. So Efron's Baywatch movie training program involved an ever-changing approach involving full body workouts, 2-a-day splits, 3-day splits, power training, strength training, stability and balance training, lifeguard training, hiking, biking, obstacle course training, and more, his trainer Patrick Murphy said. Simply put, he ended up shredded. Just do all that. You'll end up shredded. ZAC was the center of plastic surgery rumors last year, but the hunky actor has revealed all in the October 2022 issue of Men's Health magazine. He told the Monthly that it was a result of shattering his jaw and slamming his chin into the granite that totally transformed his face. High School Musical star also claimed to not know that he was a huge talking point on social media and had in fact gone viral for his different looking jaw until his mother called to ask if he had gone under the knife. Earlier this year, ZAC also revealed the truth behind the plastic surgery rumors which circulated last year. He confessed that it was a nasty accident at home. Yeah. So, okay, and then it goes into the transformation. Here's the face thing. Yeah, so to me, what does this seem like? Is this a guy who would be, taking this so seriously that he might take some, anabolics in order to achieve the role and look the best, represent the part in the way he should? For a guy who is going to say that imply heavily that a 2013, 2014 injury is the reason why his face looks like this now, when just a year or two prior, it looked like this. This is a guy who, as far as I can tell, is so serious about what he's doing that he will totally morph his physical appearance and potentially lie about it to make it just seem like it's a natural thing. I don't know. Obviously it is not going to be well received if you say that I think my latitude and scope for achieving the mature roles that I want to start getting into as I get into my later 30s, doing this significant cosmetic surgery, nobody is going to take that well. It's in his fan base, the general public, they're going to be like, it's just frowned upon to do, vanity type stuff like this, and especially in men, among women, I'm sure it's frowned upon, but breast implants, certain things of this nature are not as, heavily scrutinized. They are, often welcomed by certain individuals. They think it's better if you have this. But if you're a guy and you have any sort of representation of going under the knife to achieve your look, from what I gather, it does not seem like something that would be perceived well by the public and would be seen as a, totally insecure vanity, massive stretch of a, mental insecurity, essentially. I don't know if a lot of people would even make the connection that he's trying to, what I speculate to be trying to achieve a more mature look that's going to give him more longevity in the future as he starts to evolve into these more I don't know, is he trying to be the next George Clooney or something? He's trying to become the guy who can still achieve these roles in his 40s and still get, good spots in movies and whatnot, when he is no longer going to be able to play the high school teenage heartthrob kind of guy. That's just an inevitable outcome that at some point he's gonna have to make that transition if he wants to continue being successful. And I think this was a way for him to facilitate it. And I also think that taking anabolics or whatever he needs to take, even if it's copious amounts of Lasix, to achieve the look he needs to achieve is something he would probably be doing. And I would speculate is something that he did indeed do for this. Is he gonna come out and straight up say it? Probably not. Is he gonna say he did something benign like, I had to take a diuretic, or I had to do, significant amounts of 2-a-day training, or I had to eat 8 times a day, chicken, broccoli, and rice? Yeah, that seems like the kind of thing he would say to me. I'm not frowning upon it necessarily. I guess this is just, par for the course in this industry at this point. I don't really expect otherwise. But for somebody who represents his, cosmetic changes in the way he did and gets frustrated at the questions, gets very short and temperamental with the interviewers who are asking him about it, tries to play it off in a misleading fashion instead of just straight up saying what's going on. If this was a recent injury, you would just be fucking talking about it, oh yeah, last month, remember the time in 2013 when I smashed my jaw in a fountain? I smashed it again. What are the fucking chances? If that's actually what happened, you were very, very truthful and candid about the conversation, presumably you would just fucking say it, but it does not seem to be the case. And that's just what it is. So do I think that he is doing what it takes, regardless of its drugs, whatever, to achieve this new look? Absolutely. And I think it is something that is widespread in Hollywood and par for the course for a lot of these guys. Now, again, I don't think everyone in Hollywood is taking gear, to be clear. I think there are some guys that aren't, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're better than others either, just because they're not going to take something. You can definitely argue that they're not adequately doing their job if they're not doing it. I'm not suggesting that that's the case either, but there's definitely a debate in this kind of a situation where it's you are trying to represent a role in the best light possible, in the most accurate way possible. And if you have to do something to get there, is that good? Is that bad? If you're going to be misleading and lie about it, is that also good? Is it bad when you were trying to be an actor and play a part that is fictional at the end of the day, or represent a character that's non-fictional, but you are the fictional representation of that non-fiction? You know, it's all a weird fucking messy industry with lying, with deception, with people doing artificial shit to themselves to temporarily look a certain way. You know, it is what it is. And I, you know, definitely think transparency would be great in, you know, what it takes to actually achieve these, you know, massive, wild transformations rather than implying things that are just totally unrealistic and give false hope to individuals or cause them to buy stupid, like, workout programs to look like Thor when in reality you not only worked your fucking dick off and have sick genetics, but you also did, you know, decent amount of gear probably. You know, that kind of stuff is kind of what rubs me the wrong way about this shit. But if you're just a guy who is trying to do your job the best you can, you think this is the way to do it, I can understand why he might be the way he's going about it now. I can wrap my head around it. I think it's wild how dedicated he is to what he's doing, that he's willing to make these massive changes. But the way he went about it, he definitely, I think, could have had a more calculated and well-received strategy by the public. And ultimately, as much as he wants to say, I don't give a shit what people say about me. He says all the time, I don't even look at social media. I don't care what people say. I don't even read about it. It's like you can see the insecurity in the interview when it's being discussed. Like, he's not happy to discuss the topic. It's a very, very contentious, uncomfortable situation with this ET interviewer who, like, I would assume he knows the questions are coming and he's still like fucking thrown off, looks completely, you know, baffled that she's even asking him, and it's just not a good look, dude. So I don't know, you know, I don't know what's up with him lately. I hope his, you know, mental state is solid, you know, because this is ultimately what he's trying to do for a living, is live up to expectations in these roles, no matter how much they stretch his, you know, transformation capabilities and like what he's trying to do. And ultimately the reward for him, I guess, is the public perception of whatever roles he is, you know, put on the big screen. So hopefully it's worth it for him and he feels adequately rewarded and recognized, I guess, for his efforts. And hopefully he has longevity in the industry, because some of the stuff, like obviously the physique, I can almost guarantee within a matter of months he will look much different than this after he finishes this role. He will look softer, more natural, and not like this in very short order. And you can imagine why that is. But for the cosmetic surgery thing, I don't think that's going away, dude. I think that's there for the long haul. So I hope it was the right play for him, and I hope he is pleased with his decision overall. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you looking forward to the movie? I'm totally unfamiliar with the Von Erichs, to be totally honest with you guys. So if you think this is a movie that's gonna be worth watching, let me know. You know, looks like it could be interesting for sure. Looks like the outcome of it is not a happy one, but it could be a worthwhile watch nonetheless. And he's absolutely, you know, portraying the part. I would say, at least visually speaking. Remains to be seen how the actual acting is. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Comments down below. All the comments help the algorithm. Much appreciated. Like, subscribe. Check out my blog, moreplacemoredates.com. Follow me on Instagram at moreplacemoredates, Facebook, Snapchat, BitChute, Twitter. Not BitChute. Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below, and I'll talk to you guys soon.